Hello everyone, today I'll be giving you my informative speech about sleep patterns and why we need to have 8 hours of sleep. As I'm sure you all know, most of us tend to try and aim for roughly 8 hours of sleep every day because that's how we feel the most productive instead of oversleeping and feeling tired or undersleeping and feeling even worse. This is because the body needs a certain amount of sleep to be able to function at its prime without getting exhausted or feeling fatigued. Part of this is due to how the brain functions. We need sleep to build up that energy that we lose during the day, and not getting enough sleep then affects us horribly. But why do we prefer 8 hours of sleep over anything else? In a study done in Oman by Muhammad they did a study on how people in Oman sleep versus how Americans sleep. In America, we tend to wake up, go to our job, we'll wake up, eat breakfast, and then go to our 9 to 5 jobs. Or we go to school, where we spend the day learning. But in Oman, they have prayers 5 times a day, and they go on breaks for an afternoon siesta or nap. And because of that, they don't sleep in one whole section, which is known as monophasic sleep. They have something known as biphasic sleep. But humans aren't the only things that have different phases of sleep. Unlike humans, animals tend to prefer having multiple phases of sleep, so they have less REM, which is random access memory and dreaming. Animals have to be able to respond to outside sources such as prey moving around, or predation, which leads me to my next source, which is how animals need a lot less sleep because they're constantly moving around and they have to be able to go out hunt for their food, or they have to avoid becoming prey themselves, which is what was studied by Capelli in the year 2008, where he studied how animals get a lot less sleep and have very different sleep understanding than we do. Instead of having 8 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep and then a nap, they practice what is known as everyman sleep or diverse polyphasic sleep. This right here is different graphs of how people have experimented with sleep and how that affects the body, such as biphasic sleep, which is what is really common in Oman, where you have your sleep at night, and then you get up during the day, go to work, go to school, whatever. During this time, you pray, and then you have your siesta, and then you return to school, and then eventually go home. And then you have other things like Uberman sleep, which is 6 separate periods of sleep, so that you are sleeping less and, in theory, are more productive, because you're asleep less and you can be awake, moving around, but you're still getting those short naps. However, that has effects on the body, which were studied in a speech, or a research project by Cambridge, where girls in Finland from ages 10 to 11 were put in scenarios where they would wake up at different times, and they studied how that affects their diets. This speech showed that not getting enough sleep was causing them to eat more calories and intake sugarier foods, which resulted in things like weight gain, not getting enough, and not having enough energy throughout the day to go to school and whatnot. And that is why they were like, yeah, 8 hours of sleep is the best. Because the body doesn't react well when you are taking away that time to build back energy and restore the brain to its full functionality. Not getting enough sleep resulted in things like weight gain and other things that people don't really want. And that's why school presses that you should have 8 hours of sleep for the maximum productivity, the maximum energy burned during the day to keep weight lower, and to allow for larger creatures such as humans to get all that sleep they need. Any questions?